You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. In a world full of energy, we forget that we too are energy. And just like a mirror collects dust, our aura, our subtle energy field, can collect the residue of stress, anger, doubt, and negativity. You may feel tired, restless, uninspired, not because life is heavy, but because your energy is clouded. In this teaching, I will share 5 powerful Shaolin methods to cleanse your aura and return to your natural state. Peaceful, strong, and radiant. Stillness is the first bath. Not for the body, but for the soul. Every morning, before the monks of the Shaolin temple begin their training, there is a moment where nothing happens. No footsteps, no breathing patterns disturbed, no birds disturbed from their nests, just the quiet hush of dawn and the presence of being. This moment of stillness is not empty, it is full of awareness, full of the invisible power that comes from no longer chasing and simply being. This, my friend, is the first and most important way to begin cleansing your aura. Most people underestimate silence because they misunderstand it. They believe silence means nothing is happening. That is not true. In silence, the mind begins to settle. In silence, the emotions that were swirling in chaos now reveal their deeper root. In silence, the dust begins to fall from the mirror of your awareness, and you begin to see yourself again. Not the mask, not the stress, not the worry, but the essence. And this essence is clean. This is the original face before the world painted its noise onto you. Imagine standing by a still lake. The water reflects everything clearly. Your face, the sky, the trees. But the moment a stone is thrown into the lake, the image breaks into ripples. That is your mind, disturbed by constant stimulation, the media, conversations, deadlines, notifications. These are the stones being thrown into your inner lake every single minute, and so the aura becomes muddied. The remedy is not another distraction. The remedy is stillness. And stillness, like the lake, reveals what was always beneath the surface. In Shaolin, we have a saying, to sharpen the blade, the sword must rest. You are the sword. Life is the forge. But without rest, even the strongest steel becomes brittle. Your aura, your energy field is shaped not only by what you do, but by how well you sit in the moments when you do nothing. Most of us were never taught this. We were taught to hustle, to push, to strive endlessly. But remember, even the tiger rests before it strikes. Even the clouds pause before the rain falls. Nature has rhythms, and so should you. So here is your first discipline. Sit daily in stillness, not as an escape, but as a sacred return. You do not need to know how to meditate. You do not need mantras or incense. You only need to stop the inhale, the exhale. Like waves on the shore, the breath will anchor you. The thoughts will come. Yes, that is normal. Do not chase them, do not fight them, let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. Again and again. This is the training, this is the cleansing. In the beginning, the mind will resist. It will tell you this is boring, a waste of time. It will itch for noise, for a screen, for stimulation. But this is the voice of restlessness, the very residue you are here to cleanse. With consistency, this resistance fades. And what replaces it is a clarity that no book can give you. You begin to feel lighter, more grounded. Your decisions become more rooted. Your presence becomes deeper. Others notice it, even if they don't understand it. This is the result of a clean aura. It is not loud, but it is powerful. This practice, though simple, rewires your energy field. It brings the nervous system into harmony. It allows your energetic frequency to rise from chaos to calm. And when your inner world becomes still, the outer world begins to respond differently. You no longer react to everything. You observe, you choose, you move from center. That is the Shaolin way. 5 minutes of true stillness is worth more than 5 hours of scattered action. Begin with 5, then slowly, over time, extend it. Do not measure your progress by how quiet your mind becomes. Measure it by how peaceful you feel afterward, how much more present you are with others, how much less heavy your heart feels. These are the signs that your aura is clearing. And once stillness becomes your foundation, then the next level begins. When the breath becomes your broom. Your breath is not just the oxygen that keeps you alive. It is the bridge between the body and the mind, the seen and the unseen. In the Shaolin tradition, we say, the mind follows the breath and the energy follows the mind. This is why conscious breathing is one of the most powerful ways to cleanse your aura. Just as wind clears the dust from ancient temple walls, the breath clears stagnant energy from the corridors of your being. Yet most people breathe without awareness. Shallow, quick, unconscious breaths that keep the body alive but leave the spirit exhausted. When breath becomes mindless, life becomes foggy. When breath becomes mindful, life begins to glow again. Think of your body as a house. Over time, dust settles, not because you invited it, but because you forgot to sweep. The same happens with your energy field. Emotional residue from arguments, stress from work, anxiety from the unknown, all of it settles within you like invisible dust. It gathers in the chest, the stomach, the shoulders, and slowly dims your inner light. But unlike a house, your energy field cannot be swept with a broom. It must be cleansed from within. And your breath is the tool. In Qigong, one of the oldest practices of the Shaolin lineage, breath is the very first discipline, taught not just as a life function, but as a spiritual purifier. When you breathe deeply into the abdomen, you awaken the Dantian, the body's energy center located below the navel. This is the furnace of your vitality, the root of internal power. When activated through slow, deep breathing, it begins to radiate energy that clears out fatigue, emotional heaviness, and mental fog. This is not philosophy, it is direct experience. But to access it, one must slow down. Begin by noticing how you breathe right now. Is it fast, shallow, only in your chest? This is the breath of survival. Now slow it down. Inhale gently through the nose for 4 seconds. Feel the belly expand. Hold for 4, feel the stillness. Then exhale slowly through the mouth for 6 seconds. Feel the release. Do this rhythm for 7 full rounds. No rush, just awareness. As you breathe, imagine inhaling clean, white light into your body. Let it travel into your heart, your stomach, your spine. As you exhale, visualize a dark mist leaving your body, taking with it all tension, regret, anger, and worry. This visualization is not mere imagination. It's a language the nervous system understands. The subconscious responds to symbols, and energy follows imagery. The more often you breathe this way, the more you begin to notice a shift, not just in how your body feels, but in the subtle field around you. People may begin to say you feel calm. They don't see your aura, but they feel it. Because breathwork does not just affect the lungs, it restructures your vibration. It lowers stress hormones, aligns your heartbeat, slows down the brain waves, and gently invites your entire system to operate from a place of peace instead of pressure. Breath also has another power. It brings you into the now. And the present moment is the cleanest place in the universe. It has no past to pollute it, no future to project fear upon. Just now. When you breathe consciously, you step into the now. And the now is where all cleansing begins. It is the portal to transformation. But it takes commitment. Your breath will not wait for the perfect setting, the perfect time. It will follow your attention or it will follow your anxiety. The choice is yours. Many monks spent years in caves to master this one thing. So for me, how to be fully with the breath. Because they understand something the modern world has forgotten. That if you can master your breath, you can master your mind. And if you can master your mind, your aura will no longer be a sponge for negativity. It becomes a shield of presence. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to heal instead of absorb. You begin to emanate instead of chase. So every morning or whenever you feel energetically happy, return to your breath. Do not look for external solutions to internal pollution. Just breathe. With intention, with rhythm, and with reference. The breath is not only your life force, it is your inner wind, your sacred sweeper, your invisible healer. And once the breath has awakened your energy, it is time to move, to embody that energy through conscious motion. Movement, when done with presence, becomes meditation in motion. In Shaolin tradition, we never separate the body from the mind, nor the breath from the action. To walk is to meditate, to strike is to center, to move is to remember that this body is not just a vehicle, it is a temple. But in the modern world, the body has become either a burden or an afterthought. People sit for hours, lost in the mind, disconnected from the wisdom of their limbs. Others rush from one task to another, always in motion but never in presence. This is not conscious movement. It is chaotic movement. And chaos, even if productive, does not cleanse the aura. It depletes it. To truly purify your energy field, the movement must come from within. It must be slow enough for the breath to guide it and intentional enough that the mind joins in. In Shaolin Qigong, we move, not to get somewhere, but to be fully where we are. Each motion is a spiral of breath, awareness, and energy. The body stretches not just to become flexible, but to release emotional tension stored in the joints. The spine flows like a river, unlocking blockages you didn't even know were there. You see, trauma does not only live in the mind. It lives in the hips, the shoulders, the neck. Through conscious movement, this trauma begins to melt. The stuck energy uncoils, and in that release, the aura begins to shimmer again. Consider the fire that burns incense in a temple. That flame must be steady. Too small and it will go out. Too wild and it will destroy. Movement is the same. When done in balance, it burns off the inner residue that stillness alone cannot reach. Anger, when unexpressed, settles into the muscles. Anxiety contracts the chest and shortens the breath. Grief weighs down the spine. These emotions, if not moved through the body, harden into energetic armor. But movement, slow and rhythmic, becomes the sacred fire that burns them away, not violently, but patiently. This is why Qigong and Shaolin forms are practiced slowly before they are pressed fast. Pure without presence leads to imbalance, and presence without motion leads to stagnation. You do not need a monastery to practice this. Your room, your garden, a quiet corner in the morning, all of these are enough. Stand barefoot if you can. Feel the earth beneath you. Inhale, raise your arms like a wave rising from the sea. Exhale, let them float down like leaves in autumn. Move the spine like a serpent, slowly, gently, as if you are waking up from a long sleep. Let your shoulders roll. Let your head gently sway. Let your knees soften. As you move, breathe. As you breathe, smile. Not on your lips, but in your heart. This movement is not for display. It is for renewal. You are not trying to look graceful, you are learning to feel whole again. Over time, you will begin to notice how your energy changes. After conscious movement, the thoughts slow down, the breath becomes fuller, the emotions become clear. What once felt heavy begins to lift, Not because the world changed, but because you aligned with it. You became the river again, flowing instead of resisting. You became the mountains, stable instead of tense. You became the breeze, light, but full of presence. This is the effect of mindful movement, not just exercise, but embodied energy cleansing. Even just 10 minutes a day of such movement will begin to rewire your nervous system. It doesn't require intensity, it requires intention. Let each movement become a prayer, each gesture a return to balance. You are not just moving muscles, you are moving energy. And when the body has been awakened and the breath has been rooted, we must turn our attention to something subtler still, to the quality of what we allow inside. In the Shaolin way, we are taught that what you eat feeds the body, but what you absorb feeds your spirit. And just like unclean food can sicken the body, impure inputs cloud the aura. In modern life, many are diligent with diet and hygiene. They clean their hands, wash their clothes, track their calories, but very few monitor what enters through the subtler doors. You see, the energy you carry is not just generated by your own feelings. Much of it is absorbed from the environments, the conversations, the media, and even the unspoken energies of others. The aura, like a sponge, takes in more than we realize. And if we are not aware, we carry emotional dust that is not even ours. This is why guarding your inputs is an act of spiritual responsibility. Every word you listen to, every image you scroll past, every tone you entertain, it all leaves a residue. Just as stepping through a muddy path stains the shoes, wandering through toxic mental spaces stains the energy field. The news cycle, often driven by fear, gossip laced with judgment, endless scrolling filled with comparison. All of these may appear harmless in the moment, but over time they lower your frequency. They seed restlessness, envy, anxiety, and inner noise. And slowly they begin to rewrite your emotional baseline. You may find yourself irritated without cause, drained without effort, distracted without end. This is not just psychological, it is energetic pollution. Yeah, Shaolin monks understand that the mind becomes what it is fed. So we train not only the body, but the discipline of attention. We choose carefully what we expose ourselves to. Not to hide from the world, but to remain anchored within it. You do not have to reject modern life to live this way. You simply need to filter your input like you would filter water, removing what is harmful, keeping what is nourishing. This means creating small but sacred boundaries. Begin by taking 1 hour each day without digital noise. No screens, no conversations, no music, just presence. Let your senses recalibrate. Notice how the mind, at first agitated, begins to settle. How the breath deepens, how your aura begins to untangle. Next, examine your information diet. What do you read or watch first thing in the morning? Is it grounded? Does it make you feel connected or consumed? Replace one piece of low-quality input with high-frequent content. Read wisdom. Listen to silence. Surround yourself with people who speak with clarity, not with chaos. Words are spells, and the language we immerse in becomes the language of our inner dialogue. If those around you are always complaining, judging, or doubting, understand that vibration affects your field. It is not about labeling others as bad. It is about protecting your clarity. Even your physical space is an input. Cluttered room becomes a cluttered mind. Objects carry memory. Environments carry energy. Begin to clean not only your room, but the energy in the room. Open the windows, light a candle, rearrange something with intention, place a plant in the corner. These are small shifts, but energetically they make space for new life. Clean space invites clean energy. Most importantly, protect your mental conversations. The thoughts you rehearse daily shape your aura more than anything else. Thoughts of self-judgment, fear, or lack leave stains on the field like fingerprints on glass. This is where mindfulness becomes your shield. When you notice a low-quality thought entering, pause. Do not argue, do not indulge, just witness it and let it pass. Replace it gently with a higher thought. Not fake positivity, but grounded clarity. This is not mine to carry. Or, I choose peace instead. These simple affirmations, when repeated with awareness, begin to restructure your internal dialogue and therefore your energy. Your aura is your responsibility, not a badge to polish for admiration, but a reflection of your inner relationship with life. And like any sacred space, it deserves care, attention, and protection. You are the gatekeeper. And when you stand at the gate with clarity, with boundaries, and with mindfulness, your energy becomes harder to disturb. You radiate more and absorb less. You influence but are not influenced. This is the quiet strength that comes not from force, but from refined. And now, having cultivated clarity through stillness, breath, movement, and inner protection, it is time to return to something ancient, something many have forgotten, yet the earth has never stopped offering. Nature has never forgotten you, even when you forget yourself. Buried beneath the noise of machines, deadlines, and endless thinking, she waits, quietly, patiently, constantly cleansing. The wind still moves through the trees, the river still sings over the stones. The mountains still hold their silence, unmoved by silence. And in that silence, in that stillness, there is a vibration that nourishes the soul in a way no device, no theory, no modern comfort can. This is why the final and most ancient way to cleanse your aura is to return to nature, not as a tourist, but as a part of it, as a remembering. In Shaolin teachings, we are told the earth does not teach with words, it teaches with presence. When the monks train, they often do so barefoot on the mountain pass, allowing the soles of their feet to press into the ground, reconnecting the body with the primal rhythm of the earth. This is not symbolic, it is energetic. The earth carries a grounding frequency, a natural hum that regulates and stabilizes human energy. And the moment your skin touches soil, grass, or stone, your nervous system begins to harmonize. The static electricity from modern life dissipates. The fog in the mind begins to lift, and something inside you, something ancient, sighs in relief. Finally, I remember. Nature does not demand that you fix yourself. She only asks that you come as you are. Angry? Let the wind take it. Tired? Lay by the stream. Heavy-hearted? Let the forest absorb it. In traditional medicine, we understand that nature has 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space, and each one heals a different layer of the human being. The fluidity of water brings flow to your emotions. The heat of the sun reactivates your inner fire, your willpower. The clarity of air purifies your thoughts. And the vastness of open sky gives space to the spirit. These are not poetic metaphors, they are practical truths. Your aura responds to them because you are made of them. Even in the most urban settings, nature is not far. A small patch of grass, a quiet walk among trees, a window open to let in morning air. These are not luxuries, they are necessities for energetic hygiene. When you walk among trees, walk slowly, do not rush. Let your feet make contact with the ground deliberately. Feel the texture of bark, the softness of moss, the irregular rhythm of stones. Let your senses awaken. Listen not just with your ears, but with your skin, with your breath, with your presence. When you truly listen, you realize nature is always speaking. The leaves rustle to remind you of movement. The still lake reflects to remind you of clarity. The rising sun reminds you that no darkness is permanent. And water is the great purifier. In Shaolin, even washing the face or hands is a conscious act, not just to clean dirt, but to symbolically and energetically release the past. Let the water carry away not just dust but old emotions. When you shower, imagine the heaviness washing off. When you drink, pause for a moment and honor the life it gives. These moments, though simple, cleanse your aura far more deeply than any external ritual, because they are done with presence, and presence is the highest purifier. The modern world often treats nature as scenery, a backdrop, something to be admired in pictures but forgotten in life. But this is a mistake. Nature is not passive, it is interactive. The tree absorbs your carbon dioxide and gives you oxygen. The earth receives your weight and offers you grounding. And the farther you drift from it, the more disoriented your energy becomes. When you return, even briefly, you remember the rhythm. And when your rhythm aligns with the earth, the aura cleans itself. No effort, no strain. Just return and allow. Let it become a habit. Sit with your back against a tree, walk in silence under the moonlight, gaze at clouds, listen to rain as a meditation. These are not idle acts. They are spiritual hygiene. They are invitations to balance. And when your aura is balanced, your mind becomes still, your breath becomes deep, your movement becomes graceful. You are no longer just surviving, you are harmonizing. And now, having walked the fivefold path through stillness, breath, movement, awareness, and nature, you may begin to sense a shift within. Not dramatic, but undeniable, like the sun rising behind the clouds. And now, as we reach the end of this inner journey, let us return to the beginning, where the question was not, what can I do more? But rather, what can I release? Your aura is not something to be polished for others to see. It is the invisible signature of your presence. It is how your inner world touches the outer one. You've learned that stillness clears the noise, breath resets the rhythm, conscious movement burns off residue, mindful input protects your clarity, and nature restores your original balance. Each of these is not a task to complete, but a practice to lift. The path is not linear, it spirals, gently, quietly, and with each cycle you become lighter, not because the world changed, but because you did. The Buddha once said, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. Cleaning your aura is not a one-time event. It is a way of life, a commitment to remain inwardly clear in a world that is constantly chaotic. It is a form of silent strength to be able to walk through noise and remain unmoved, to face darkness without letting it stick to your light. So here is your gentle challenge. Start today, not by speaking, not by doing, but by noticing. Sit still for 5 minutes. Watch your breath. Listen to the silence behind the noise. Touch the earth, even if it's just a plant on your windowsill. Begin small, but begin sincerely. The aura responds not to grand gestures, but to quiet sincerity, repeated over time. To everyone listening, thank you for walking this path with presence. Your energy matters. Your awareness matters. And the more of us who purify ourselves from within, the more this world begins to reflect that peace. May you walk gently, may you breathe deeply, and may your light remain steady. Until next time, stay rooted, stay aware, and stay at peace.